the Cho'Gath picked up, when you look at the bans targeted at the top lane, they don't seem to be worried about that. Maokai very much, so we'll see if Expect actually wants to go for something a little bit more lane dominant, which I would think would be a very good idea. We saw how effective it was just last game for Alphari. This would give them advantages in both top and bot lane. So unless Frozen can really get an advantage in the mid lane, things are starting to look pretty good for G2.
You could look at something like a Cassio for Frozen, a champion that in the past was very well known.
Yeah, to get ready for this counter gank. What does he know? Now Crash is just above him, a back and forth in the top lane, ult still held by those top laners.
Perkz making the roam up though. He has the Realm Warp and they can go for this. Trundle ult is popped.
Just gonna be in range, expect getting a few chomps down himself. Takes a bite out of Crime and the kill goes over. You expect in that top side, Trick and Crash meet each other in the jungle. Looks like Trick's gonna waltz out of this one knowing the
not really much of that.
Realm Warp again, right onto Crash, and it looks like that is going to happen. Japone very low. Monsoon goes down with both summoners, so that means they do not have much siege protection left. Double Buster shot back. Frozen and Pad are put right into the redemption of Japone. Here comes Staldrin waltzing in from the right.
But ultimate, you have the Cassio who does it incredibly quickly. You also have the Cosmo there too, as another fight might be kicking off. TP coming in from Expect.
Yeah, they're looking to get flanked, and Fenerbahce is actually split up here. They could be in trouble.
Dropping the minions in the mid wave, so they make sure that G2 may not have something to push, but they'll go right for Baron if they can take the fight. Staldrin goes down. The 50-50's only with Crash now, and the Smite. Expect stands tall on the front line as Padden tries to find a few more shots.
Padden has got to be so careful as well because Trick still has his flash, as does Expect, and there are no summoners on this Kog'Maw, so if he mispositions even one time, he can get engaged on.
Perkz on the other side of the wall. Man mode for him as he pushes Crash over. And we'll see if Crash can get himself back in. The flash is up, so he can pretty much deny any of that positioning, but over the wall goes G2 for Crash, and the Baron will go into the hands of G2 Esports. Trick and Mithy to do the rest of the damage there. Hopefully, they have enough damage there, getting a little ahead of themselves. Overzealous, G2 goes for too many kills and almost lose their team doing Baron.
And now G2 with the Baron buff, they're looking for mid, but here comes the flank.
Righteous Glory, eyes on Sven on the back line. Crash straight to him, expecting Trick now in the front. Sven turns around to start firing, and that is going to be a dead Crash. Trick pops up Thaldrin, enough shots could be the end of him as Perkz enters from the side with a flash. And now, without blinking, they continue the fight. Padden and Sven, 1v1, blasted back with a buster shot. And a Cathy, it won't surprise anybody on this one. G2's in the base.
Really good engage from Crash, but just too late into the game. G2 are far too strong, and they're going to go to a nearly perfect game against 1907 Fenerbahce.
Both teams coming in 0-1. There had to be a victor in the group, and G2 makes a bit of a statement for themselves here, climbing towards the top, looking for a 1-2 position here in Group C. They take down the final Nexus turret, and they will have the Nexus. 8-0, 32 minutes in. G2 take the victory over 1907 Fenerbahce.